Okay, cool. Hello, beautiful Cancer people. My name is Jessica from Prospect Park Tarot, and I am here to deliver to you your monthly reading for the month of August 2020. Before we get started in this reading, I just want to mention a couple of things. First of all, I'm using two new decks. The first one is this Light Seer Tarot deck. I really love the visuals on this deck, and I feel like it'll help the story that I give to you guys kind of ring through a little stronger. Maybe the symbols on these cards may give you a message or a sign that you've been needing. Also, I'm using a new oracle deck. This is the Divine Feminine Oracle deck. I love this deck. This one's also very new. And this one basically points to different goddesses in different cultures, which is what I love about this, to kind of share the messages or the stories that you need to hear at this time. And I'm still using the same Rebel deck that I always use because I love the bluntness of this deck. The other two decks are a bit gentle, they're more so motivational, inspirational. This one kind of puts the fire up under our ass that we need. Do you feel me? So other than that, I believe that's all I have to share with you guys. If you are a subscriber and you are returning, thank you so much for being here. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for being here as well. So without further ado, let's get started. Thank you so much, Spirit, for using me as a vessel to transmit those messages that you believe the Cancer people should be receiving at this time. We have cards falling out already, but we are not ready to pick those up, so I'll take mental notes, but we won't mention them quite yet. All right, I ask for confidence, clarity, and cohesion as we embark upon this reading. Spirit wants to tell you guys so much, so I want to hurry up with this prayer, hurry up with these shuffles, and just get to the reading. Okay, cool. All right, thank you so much, Spirit. The reading will begin once the first card falls. We're going to do a 9-card spread. The way this reading is going to work is I'm going to read every card as is, as a singular card, so that way you guys can follow along. Also, if the connections I make between cards are different from the connections you've made, it gives you that opportunity to take what the cards are saying to you that I might not have the experience to share with you. Does that make sense? All right, perfect. So without further ado, let's begin. The reading will begin when the first card falls. Thank you so much, Spirit. Thank you so much. All right, perfect. So we have the first card down. It is the Death and Rebirth card. Look how beautiful this illustration is, like seriously. So with the Death being the first card that falls in your spread, I give the feeling of somebody has shed some old skin. Or this could be, a very literal transformation where something fell away from you, a breakup, a loss, or whatever the case may be. And a lot of times when we see the Death card, it portends grief, it portends worry. But as you can see with this card, it also has the rebirth right there. So it gives me the feeling of us shedding old skin, of us kind of hatching from whatever cocoons we've been in this year. I know this year has been rocky for a lot of people, and with this first card down, it gives me the feeling that the tide is beginning to change. All right, what's the next card we have down? Thank you so much. All right, so the next one we have is the High Priestess. Beautiful. We have two major arcana right after each other. So the High Priestess talks about our intuition. It talks about us using our intuition and using our higher mind to connect to the information and the downloads that our logical thought processes can't connect to. So this is a feeling of understanding the world and understanding your place in the world by means of spirit, by means of God, and by means of the whims and the synchronicities that you experience on a daily basis to kind of help explain what's going on for you. All right, so what's next? What do we have next? Thank you so much. All right, so the next one we have is the Tower. This is major transformation happening. First of all, you have three major arcana who come one right after the other. The Tower talks about a sudden loss. It talks about a sudden upheaval. It talks about foundations that we've built quite literally being ripped up from the ground that we laid them on. A lot of times when the Tower happens, it is because whatever foundations we built were probably built upon our egos. You feel me? They were built upon the way we identified ourselves, and the way in which we identified ourselves probably isn't the way or isn't who we are, because there's no solid way to define who you are. There's no solid way to define the way you are supposed to move in this world. The only way we know who we are and what we are is by the things that we do. So this Tower gives me a feeling of ego death. It gives me a feeling of what I thought I had, what I thought I knew about myself, just crumbling before me. Everything that I built on this weak foundation of my ego is kind of falling apart. Let's get into it. Thank you so much. That came out really quickly. Okay, so we have the Eight of Swords, which is very understandable with this reading. So with the Eight of Swords right here, we have this feeling of anxiety, this feeling of being lost, this feeling of being stuck, kind of imprisoned in whatever mental strife that we're going through at that time. With these three cards right after the other, I get a very understandable feeling with this. It may feel like, oh my God, well, what am I supposed to do? Or how do I even start back up? You know, am I still invited into the world? How can I rebuild? Or all of these emotions are swirling around us and can really overwhelm us. So that's what I'm getting with this Eight of Swords. I'm going to let the rest of the cards fall out before we start working on the solutions that we can find. All right, heart of the reading is the Lovers. That's beautiful. Okay, so there's two things that comes with the Lovers. Obviously, you see a divine union right here, a very spiritually connected divine union, one that syncs up physically as well. Maybe the way in which you move is the same way in which that other person moves, kind of like puzzle pieces. If it's not a person, if it's not a love relationship, also platonically or familially, this could be a major decision that you have to make regarding some kind of commitment to a job, commitment to maybe a new house, commitment to whatever the case may be. But there's a need to really sit and meditate upon a decision that you're about to make, to tie yourself to something, just to see if it is the next step that you need to take wherever you're going right now. This is in the heart of your reading, so it definitely has to do with a major decision or a major relationship kind of altering the course of what's going on right now. You have 4 major arcana. This is serious, guys. Cancer people. All right, so the next one you have is the Ace of Cups. I definitely feel like everything that is falling away with purpose. Everything that happens to us has a purpose. We just have to find it, and we just have to accept that our lives play out in a way that is divinely guided. So with this Ace of Cups, it's kind of that confirmation of you are losing all of these things. You may be feeling like you're losing your mind, losing money, losing your identity, but it's because Spirit has something to offer you, and it's in the form of this Ace of Cups. So this Ace of Cups can look like a new love relationship. This Ace of Cups can look like a new creative endeavor that will help you to begin to move forward in a way that embodies who you are down to the soul and embodies the things that you are capable of doing right now. All right, let's see what else we have for you, beautiful Cancer people. Thank you so much. All right, so the next one we have is the Eight of Wands in the reverse. So the Eight of Wands in the upright, it talks about forward moving progress. It's about moving fast. So when I see it in the reverse, it gives me that opposite feeling. It gives me the feeling of delayed gratification, maybe not getting the things we feel like we deserve so readily. Maybe feeling like the world around us has stopped, or we have stopped, and the world around us seems to just be buzzing by. A lot of times when I see this card in the reverse, it doesn't scare me too much because it gives me the feeling like Spirit is giving you some kind of opportunity by slowing you down, by letting you feel what's going on around you. So when it is time to make the decisions, as we see with this Lovers card, you make the decision that best suits you and not the decision that best suits your ego or what society thinks you should be going after. All right, what's next? Oh, so we got 2. So the last 2 cards fell out. Wow, so many major arcana here, Cancer people. I really want to know what's going on, but it gives me the feeling that if this already resonates with you, tap into Spirit, tap into God, tap into whoever you believe in, because they're definitely here, and they're here very strongly for you. Your ancestors, are definitely on your shoulders, sitting with you, guiding you quite clearly. This is not the kind of thing where you have to dig very deep to find answers. I get the feeling here is that all you have to do is ask for direction. All you have to do is ask for motivation, and Spirit is like, here is what you need, or here's what I think you need, which may not always be what you think you need, if that makes sense. So the next one we have is the Hanged Man. This is the same feeling I'm getting with this Eight of Wands in the reverse. It's this feeling of I need to pause. I need to take a break, and I need to take everything in my environment in. There's a lot of stuff that happened. There's a lot of transformation going on with this Death and this Tower right here. And Spirit wants me to take this in. Spirit wants me to see, who am I without the identities that I had? Who am I without these things that I own that no longer exist in this 3D reality that I have or that I'm in right now? So this Hanged Man right here really gives me the feeling of needing to pause, needing to take a break so we can rewire our new perspective to fit the new cycle we're entering. Does that make sense? Especially with this Hanged Man, it also talks about having to sacrifice something, having to give something up so we can move into that next stage. So with this Death in this Tower especially, it's giving me this feeling of letting go of how you identified yourself, letting go of a relationship, letting go of something that you thought you wanted, so that when you move forward, you find that whatever strategies you were using before probably didn't work. This Hanged Man is giving you the opportunity to re-strategize your life and re-strategize your direction so you can begin to move forward. And although we had these, these really scary cards that came out, this is a really positive reading. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This reading's definitely giving me goosebumps because I really feel like you guys are entering a new cycle and you guys can feel it. And if you can't feel it, just ask Spirit, because Spirit is right here with this High Priestess, and they're saying, yeah, it's true. That thing that you feel like is starting anew, that thing that you're feeling like maybe I have to question, have these tactics been working before? If they weren't, Spirit is literally showing you a new way to be with this Judgment card, which is... This is beautiful. This is so beautiful. You have the Judgment card ending your reading. This is the last card of your spread, which is amazing. This Judgment card points to a rebirth, quite literally, and I love that you started this spread with the Death and the rebirth. This is the cycle quite literally completing itself, and it's completing itself with Spirit. Let me show you how. So the Judgment card, a lot of times when we see this is the card of reckoning. This is the card of having to go over your past life, having to go over everything you've done and everything you've grown and everything you've lost, and seeing what worked and what didn't. And having to own up to all of those things, having to own up to all of the feelings that you have. And after that, Spirit, God gives you the opportunity to move forward. But in order to move forward, you have to accept all of those things and let go of what didn't work, and figure out how we're going to begin to redirect our lives so we can accept this rebirth that's happening of our soul. It's like this old part of ourself is dying, the part of ourself that wasn't working, the part of ourself that was heavy, and we're inviting this lighter part of ourself, this part of ourself that doesn't let go of the things that we want, that doesn't let go of the dreams we have for ourselves and our children. It's saying, I'm going to step into this higher version of myself, okay? Because this part of myself was weighing me down a little too much. And let's get into the underlying energy to see what this is all about. So we have the Nine of Cups. That is beautiful, Cancer people. You guys, yes. So I get the feeling that you guys are being offered an invitation into something that you want. I'm getting the feeling like your goals have been realized. And they have been realized because the things that you thought you could have, or the things that you thought you were, fell away. So it needed you to get very realistic. It needed you to touch the ground for a second so you can see, how can I realize my goal in a way that is realistic, that uses the resources that I have, that uses my spiritual connection? Because when it comes to building our world, creating our world, you can't just do it physically, because everything starts spiritually. Everything starts in the mind. Everything starts as an idea, as an inspiration from your muse or from your God. So it's this feeling of, we're letting go of the heavy stuff because there's something being born here. So as it pertains to this Lovers in the heart of your reading, I get the feeling that this may be a new love that you're creating, or this is a new decision that you are creating based in love, based in divinity and divine union that points you to the direction that your soul calls out to. This is amazing. Before we get any clarification, although I feel like this reading doesn't need much clarification, it's very clear. If you get those signals, hey, there's something I want to start new, as soon as you re-strategize, as soon as you redirect, Spirit's saying, go ahead, go for it. But let's get some oracle cards before we continue, just to see what the oracles are saying about this. Thank you so much, Spirit. What do we have to say to the Cancer people for the month of August 2020? We're going to do 3 of these and then 1 of these divine feminine cards. So the first one's down. Let's get 2 more. This is amazing. I love this for you guys. I really do. August is going to be a very beneficial year for those of you who tap into your soul's calling, who tap into the abilities that you have right now. Listen to that high priestess within you. Listen to that higher voice within you, because they're pointing you towards the direction that not only serves you physically in the way that people see that you're looking good, but in the way that you're feeling good, in the way that you don't have to share it with anybody. You don't got to tell anybody you're feeling good because you feel so good. You don't care who knows. You feel me? So let's get into these first. The first one says, you are talented and fucking amazing, period. The world needs your power. Use your voice. Just don't use it for dumb shit. The second one says, you need some fucking yoga in your life. Ancient shit is cool. So let's start connecting our body to our soul. Let's start doing that. And the last one says, it's dark and you can't see a fucking thing. Get your head out of your ass. Pronto. So there's this feeling of, if you feel lost, if you feel confused, it may be because you are identifying too much with that which you identify with. And the whole purpose of this reading is to disengage from who we think we are and allow Spirit to create us from the ground up by the things we do, not the things we think we should do. Does that make sense? All right, and let's get one of these divine feminine oracle cards. I really believe that this is your reading, you guys. You had so many major arcana. It's this feeling of the story's right there for you guys. So we're going to actually close it out with this card right here. This is going to be a very short card because the message was very clear. If it's that new project you want to start, Spirit is saying, listen, let's re-strategize and let's start. Enough talking, enough daydreaming, enough identifying, and more doing, more research, more redirection and education, because you have everything you need. Everything you need to start this rebirth journey, you have it within you. And it's going to start by getting naked first, and by being bare, and by being vulnerable. And then saying, you know what? I'm going to make this decision. I'm going to make this decision to commit to this new thing. And Spirit's going to be right there with you, walking you through those new stages. Let's get a divine feminine oracle card. So we got 2, and we're going to keep them. We're just going to keep both of them. So I am not very good at pronouncing these names. I'm not going to lie. This is a new deck, but I will do my best. So the first one is Lolita, the red goddess. It says, playfulness is a spiritual power. Laughter leads me back to the light. It also comes with a book. So I'm going to read what the meaning of these say after I figure out how to pronounce this other one. I really don't want to mess it up, just in case one of you guys know who this is and you get upset because I pronounced it wrong. It says Yeshi Syogal? I don't know for sure. Anyways, let me just read the subtitles and see what it's about. This one says, Lady of the Lotus Born. Embodiment is the deepest bliss. My body was made for enlightenment. Period. Okay, so let's get into the meaning of these cards, and then we'll wrap up your reading. A really quick reading today, you guys, but that's what you deserve, and that's what you need. Spirit is saying, get out of here so they can, handle whatever they have to handle. No questions asked. Okay, so let's get into Lolita. Let me read it really quickly. And nope, I'm just going to read it straight word for word. That's what we're going to do. It's about 3 paragraphs. Just bear with me. All right, so this one says, answers arrive from disengaging with the energy that created the problem or question to begin with. We are disengaging. We so often hold tight to what we desire with a grip that actually inhibits it from arriving. Were we not just talking about holding on to our identities? This is amazing, guys. So keep listening, keep listening. And we often take the soul by the collar and demand to know an answer right now. But when a desire is an imperative, there's an inability to be playful, imaginative, and childlike with how and when that desire will arrive. The secret to desire is holding it lightly. The secret that the Red Goddess knows is that we already have everything we desire. So we can trust that what the soul craves is and always has been ours. This is the levity that sparks a shift, a change, and expansion. This is the moment that we remember we are not separate from what we desire or from the divine. Period. Duh. Okay. I'm sorry. Lolita is that brilliant moment in a fight between lovers or friends when suddenly someone mispronounces a word and both crack up laughing. She's the levity that comes when we loosen our death-like grip on what we think we desire. She's the gorgeous, much-needed reminder that we don't have to suffer our way to what we want most. The path to what we desire and to becoming the soul we need to be in order to receive it can be paved with joy, with divine play, and with a sacred process of lightening up along the way. Period. So there's this feeling of, I don't have to be anything. I don't have to call myself anything. I just have to do what feels natural, what feels like it's connected to my spirit and who I already am. Let's get into this other one that I dare not pronounce again. All right, thank you so much. Let's see what this one is about. And I'm going to read this one word for word as well. Let's see how long this one is. So this one's about 4 paragraphs, but they're really quick. So let's get into it. So this one says, it can be so easy to forget that everything we touch, everything we say, and everything we do is not separate from the divine. This card embodied one of the most potent spiritual truths. The female body is an asset to an enlightenment, not a hindrance. The body is a vehicle to free us from the idea that there are any limitations to reality. Tantra, which weaves together the sacred and the mundane to reveal the spiritual nature of all things, allowed this card to realize that she was both an ordinary woman and an incarnation of the Buddha. We are both human and divine. We are both our mortal body and an eternal essence that continues on. The body too often can be the scapegoat for much hate, distrust, and violence. The body holds infinite wisdom, pleasure, and possibilities. This is the moment to see your gorgeous body as the tremendous gift it is. It is the moment to realize that there is no greater intoxication than just being fully in your body from head to soul. This card is the call to remember the holiness of your flesh, the deep wisdom of your body contains, and the temple you walk around in every day. So with that being said, it really gives me the feeling like I should repeat this other oracle card that says you need some yoga in your life. Maybe it's time to connect to our body to see what our body wants, to see what our body wants to eat, to see what our body wants to do, and to see what our body wants to feel. So beautiful Cancer people, that is your reading. The underlying energy is the 9 of Cups. Go for it. Go for it. You don't have to think you are anything. All you got to do is just go for it physically and make sure your higher self and your physical self are both connected as you do. This is amazing. This is a yes. Okay, this is a yes for whatever it is that you wanted to do. So thank you so much for embarking on this reading with me. I have high hopes for you guys this month. So we will speak soon. Thank you so much, and y'all have a great day and a great month, okay?